Jaiguruji Maharaj, Shukrana Guruji Maharaj. With folded hands and gratitude in my heart, I bow to the lotus feet of our beloved Guruji. With his divine grace and due permission, I would like to start the reading of chapter 1 from the divine book, Blessing Ready for Divinity by Commander Uncle. GOPAL TERA AARTA. The Guru is an impulse given to the spirit within you to come out. It is he who makes spiritual combustion possible. It is he who can kick-start our spiritual engine. The first lamp is the Guru, says Swami Vivekananda, and the lamp that is lighted from it is the disciple. The Guru does not bring spirituality from the outside. He awakens it from within us. The Guru's job is not of transportation of learning, be it mystical, ritualistic or secular, but of transcending the ignorance of the disciple. He takes a pickaxe to our ignorance and destroys it forever. The Guru is in fact the destiny of the disciple. The Guru takes a form just like the director of a picture takes part in his own film. He creates a role for himself and steps in. He picks up a date and time and chooses a sequence of events. Then he drops into the cosmic picture to change it with his Leela. Just such a role was played by Guruji Maharaj. In his form, God himself decided to come down and save his flock. Guruji's blessings not only protect the disciple who has entrusted himself to the Guru's care against any malicious currents of karma, they are also a positive nurturing force. They provide soil, sunlight, and water for the soul that lies hidden under the imperatives of the mind, body, and heart. Slowly, the disciple blooms. His life is transformed internally under Guruji's care. Shiny materialism is exposed to show that it has only rusty pleasure to offer. Simplicity comes to the fore with its fraternal virtue, humility, and the devotee finds himself part of the family of his Guru, the Sangat. His atrophied love for humanity is regained. The Sangat is not based on bonds of blood, but on common love for the Guru. Guruji has patiently woven the Sangha together, discarding all inequalities that man is heir to. His singular method of teaching is via the Shabads, which proclaim divine truths of one God, of the common message and unity of different religions, and the common ground of different men who come from one source. They teach us that there is but one aim that human life owes allegiance to: God. They encourage us to make efforts towards spiritual realization. They counsel us to adopt the golden rule of humanity, brotherhood towards one and all. They enjoin us to act in accordance with that rule, serving each other selflessly, helping and never hurting. The significance of the Guru is akin to that of a gardener who can find seeds and manure and just the right sun and shade no matter what the soil type. The gardener spends some time gently digging at the hard soil. With the spade of love, he gently breaks our hardened hearts and minds into soft lumps without unsettling the topsoil of our personality. After tilling the ground, the Guru selects the seed that can be dropped into the flower bed. He pats disciplinary mud around it, which is our sadhana. It can either be introduced with formality or without orthodoxy, with a casual command. But the vital energy that inspires the sadhana is the Guru's grace. The Guru then waters the seed and steps away for a while. The life of outer circumstances, of sorrow and happiness, of yearning and disappointment, of vitality and ill health shines on the young plant. It yearns for true light, and the Guru again steps in. Some weeding is required of our mental habits after a bit of experience gathering. Maybe we need a strong pesticide or more manure or some slight tilling. He does what is needed and steps away again. The process is repeated. The disciple is tended and grown until he blooms into himself. The Guru keeps doing this for those earnest in his sanctuary. He sees into the nature of all those who come and understands who is ripe for what. By deep insight, he knows of the Shraddha, the commitment and conviction the disciple has, and plants the seed natural to that environment. He does not make everybody into one kind of flower. The Guru is not cloning. He is growing a garden full of all kinds of flowers. The Guru's role is akin to the mother's at home. She feeds, nurtures, cares, protects, teaches, grooms, prods, punishes, loves, forgives, loves again. The Guru is nothing else but the lap of the Divine Mother. To write about his significance is a foolish fancy. It is foolish because the plenitude of his nature and its transcendence can't be described. Thus, whatever is wrought by words can only point to the Guru. It cannot describe him fully. It is fancy because the mediator in the act of writing is the mind. The mind, as we know, is unduly capricious. But an act of grace can easily make it sing to the Guru's tune. Attunement to the Guru gets the mind in line, allowing the ideas of his higher consciousness to seep through. Through the Guru's tending, the aspirant feels a natural expansion of his feelings and thoughts. He loses self-worry and gains concern for others. Not through something as blunt and obvious as moralizing sermons, but through a keen method employed by the Guru, which opens his eyes and makes him look into himself and realize his mistakes. The Guru's task is to make the disciple, perhaps reluctant because this is not the romantic spiritual holiday he may have expected, undergo training. How the Guru does this, he only knows. But he uses the pattern of the disciple's life to train him, to make him spiritually fit. This is the most wondrous aspect of the Guru. It is not the supernatural powers he possesses, his intense physical presence that constantly bursts with the divine energy behind it, but the wholesome yet inscrutable way in which he prepares the disciple that is amazing. Certain preparatory steps are called for, though these may not literally follow the same order or even be present for every devotee. First, the disciple must want the Guru. He must develop love for him, for then alone can he trust him. As the novice disciple stirs with devotion, he begins to feel inadequate to this love. This is natural. If you love a superior person, you soon see where you are coming up short. Second, the disciple must want to become worthy of the Guru's love. He will come to acknowledge, without the guidance of moral strictures, his misalignment from what the Guru exemplifies. Third, he must make the effort to purify himself. This purification may be brought about by prayers, rituals, mantras, and other spiritual exercises, but it is not necessary that it should be. A glance of grace from the Guru can set in motion internal processes that bring out and cleanse states of being. It is not a purification that is ceremonial, but a cleansing of the mental swarm that is a common store of mischief. It can come about through sadhana and seva. The karmas that make up the body must be exhausted in service, that is seva. The devotee thinks he is doing selfless service at the behest of the Guru, but it is actually the Guru that is taking pains on one's behalf. And seva is a wish-fulfilling tree which also provides refuge. Fourth, he must drop the ego. He must cleave less to outer circumstance to fortify himself and depend fully on the Guru. He views himself less as an individual and more as an agency. His commitment to self-seeking and self-aggrandizing goals wanes as he feels their hollow transitoriness and acknowledges their futility. He robes his ego to something more gratifying, more fulfilling. Yet the nature of the higher good or dharma is such that the ego can't latch onto it. The devotee finds that the dharma cannot feed his ego, and the Guru absolutely will not. The effect is that he develops emotional maturity. He may love and yearn for the Guru as much as he wants, but these emotions become interiorized. His prayers may continue, but they lose sentimentality and self-pity. The devotee gives up all self-seeking. He does not seek to bend circumstances towards personal gain. Instead, the disciple sees the hand of the Guru in the shaping of circumstances. Fifth, he surrenders to the Guru. Along with the relinquishment of the ego comes the Guru's gift of surrender. It is said that the disciple must surrender to the Guru. But who is going to surrender to whom? How can surrender be willed? The minute it is done through force of mind or even through an act of understanding, it becomes not surrender but the effect of an action taken up by an individual. A subtle form of the ego hides behind such noble and meritorious acts, for the true cause of surrender is the Guru's grace. Question: if I also be an illusion, who then casts off the illusion? Answer: the I casts off the illusion and yet remains I. Such is the paradox of self-realization. The realized do not see any contradiction in it. Take the case of bhakti, devotion. I approach Ishvara and pray to be absorbed in him. I then surrender myself in faith and by concentration. What remains afterwards? In place of the original I, perfect self-surrender leaves a residuum of God in which the I is lost. That is the highest form of devotion, parabhakti, parapatti, surrender, or the height of vairagya. You give up this and that of my possessions. If you give up I and mine instead, all are given up at a stroke. The very seed of possession is lost. Thus, the evil is nipped in the bud or crushed in the germ itself. Dispassion, vairagya, must be very strong to do this. Eagerness to do must be equal to that of a man kept under water trying to rise up to the surface for his life. Padmalai, teachings of Sri Ramana Maharishi, recorded by Muruganar, first English translation by Dr. T.V. Venkatesubramaniam, Robert Butler and David Goodman, editor P217. Sixth, he becomes one with the Guru. As such, this is not a step, but a consequence of all that came before. The effect of the Guru's grace is rapid after the ego is gone and just the remnants of the personality remain. The personality is then like a shell within which the Guru has his abode. The disciple and the Guru are one. The Guru works through the disciple who has lost his sense of wrongful identity and fully knows who he is, to take the disciple towards the realization, as Sri Ramana Maharishi put it, that God, Guru and Self are one. The spiritual light leaps from one bodily frame to another and passes on ever lit. The Guru and disciple thus form an informal tradition of a continuous offering of lights or arti to the divine that is present in everyone, even as it is beyond and above them. Seventh, divine sport. The way once walked assiduously has been transcended. The victorious soul has realized its aspiration and been consumed by it. Now what happens is Leela. The divine plays through you to bring others to the divine threshold. A fully realized soul who has transcended all limitations becomes godly, turns holy, and remains sacred even when enmeshed in the affairs of the world. Knowledge, power, purification, worship, doership, all these have been bid goodbye. The soul is done. Even God is done. There is nothing to attain, nothing to fear, and nothing to hope for. No beginnings and no ends, for all beings and ends are in one. Being and non-being are the two hands of this divine personage, whose foot is on the earth and whose head in the highest heavens. Through his pose, he sustains the universe, and through his formlessness, he holds it together and goes beyond it. This is not liberation and realization, but the transcending flight of the self beyond the causal dream of the world into the infinite real. This ascent is made possible through the divine manifestation of grace in the form of the Guru. Right through the Guru's grace is the only constant. Our Guruji's blessings remain with the fraternity he nurtured. They are with the humble and the common, the good but deprived, those poor in wealth yet rich in warmth, whose hearts welcome both brother and God. God, who is always present, but whose recognition within a heart is only possible with the Guru's grace. Which is why, in all circumstances and for all time, Guruji is victorious. Jaiguruji. Jitendra Pant. With this, I would like to close today's session. First and foremost, I would like to seek forgiveness from our beloved Guruji for mistakes in the narration of this chapter from the divine book, Blessing Ready for Divinity. I would also like to seek forgiveness from each and every one of you for the same, and would like to invite you to the reading of chapter 2 from this divine book. Thank you, Guruji, for everything. Thank you, each and every one of you.